This meeting is.
All right. Welcome back to the Noble Shire for progressive discussion here at Progressive Rock Central. Today we have Nick Fletcher. He's going to be talking and discussing his new album, A Longing for Home, with us. And he's brought some wonderful guests that help put this whole thing together for him. And Caroline Bonet, and I hope I said that right. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves, talk a little bit. For Nick, just go ahead and tell us where you're from and a little of your background, because we pretty much know your background. But if you want to add some things, but we don't know that much about Caroline, so just tell us a little bit about.
I'll keep it brief, and then Caroline can jump in. So I'm from Sheffield, which is in Yorkshire in England, and I've lived here pretty much all my life, and I'm guitarist and writer of music and recording of albums person. Yeah,
and a member.
Yes, and I play in the John Hackett band. John Hackett, obviously the brother of Steve Hackett. Yeah. I've got a bass player who's jumping in.
Sounds like he's playing.
I was going to say, hey.
Hello.
Hey, I offered.
Hey man, how you doing?
I offered.
Very good.
I offered that to Nick, but you're more than welcome to as well.
That's fine.
So you're
Good
Jonathan.
to see you, Jonathan.
Go ahead and I'll tell you what, we were just about to let Caroline, so let Caroline, and then I want you to just do a basic introduction.
Okay, Caroline first, and then Jonathan can jump in. Yeah. Okay.
Cool, thank you. So I'm Caroline Bonnet, actually, but you can pronounce it Bonnet as well, because Americans do. And my parents, when they got married, the vicar insisted on calling them Bonnet. So either will do. I like Bonnet, but the English word is, because there's two T's, is bonnet. So yeah, I'm a musician. I'm basically living now in Newark. I've been here since 2015. It's in the east of, it's East Midlands, so it's kind of quite central, the east central of England. And I have a little studio in my house, and I've been involved in music pretty much all my life. I trained as a music teacher, then I got a publishing contract and a record deal, did the singer-songwriter thing, and then realized I really loved production and being on the other side of the microphone. And that's actually how I met Nick. So we've known each other for probably 20 years, maybe more.
Yeah,
at least
20 years. Yeah.
And I think we first met actually when I was A&Ring. So that's kind of official words for artist and repertoire role in a record company that I was working for.
Yeah, Caroline was my A&R manager, so I had to do as I was told. Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
So,
I still do.
Well, nothing changes, quite frankly, but yeah. So I oversaw his project on behalf of the record company. So yeah, yeah, that's pretty much my background in a nutshell.
CV, yeah.
And sound engineer, and mastering engineer.
Well, to be honest, all things sound. I love sound. I love music. I love all music. I love all sound. I'm fascinated by it. It's a passion. It's an addiction. It's everything to me. So and working with someone like Nick is so challenging, because he really is on the kind of cutting edge of, virtuoso style music. And my background is perhaps a bit more laid back, a bit more pop, a bit more contemporary. So working with Nick is a fantastic experience, because it's stretching. It's a really good way of improving oneself.
Since you brought it up, we got to ask you, what's your favorite band or favorite album? If you're on a deserted island, and
wow.
only one choice what to bring with you. I mean,
who are you asking?
You.
Are you asking me that? Okay, because I can't tell whether you're asking me that or Nick or Jonathan.
So, I should have said
Carol, right, you put me on the spot.
You were talking, so yeah, go ahead.
Wow, there are so many. I'm not sure that I have one particular album. I don't think I could answer that honestly, because I have so many that are just incredible,
Top
ranging
three.
from, pardon?
Top three.
Oh gosh, top three.
Well,
top
Well,
five.
okay, so let me just tell you, this is kind of probably going to blow your mind because you may or may not have heard of him, but somebody that is increasingly inspiring me is a guy called James Blake, just simply
Yeah,
because
I've heard of him.
his sonic range of when he writes and when he produces, the sounds that he makes and just the material that he comes up with, when you listen to them in a studio environment or even just on headphones or whatever, the sonic range there is so satisfying. It's incredible, and it just triggers everything in me. I find him absolutely absorbing. So I'll listen to something like anything that James Blake's done, and then I love Oliver Arnolds. I don't know if you've come across Oliver Arnolds. He's an Icelandic composer, completely the opposite, very ambient, very deep, just the most beautiful music. So what I gained from his music is just this incredible depth of beauty. He finds beauty in music, and I just love that too. So, anything that takes you out of your kind of normal entertainment. Entertainment is fine, but I want to be provoked. I want to be moved. I want to be transported. So these are the kind of the kind of albums I listen to currently. But of course, my background would be any singer-songwriter, basically, that from Joni Mitchell through to Elton John. That's grew up with idolizing. But kind of current albums now, I think just because of the technology and the sounds, the quality of sound that you can get now from recordings, it's just so incredible that
And you can do it at home, which is amazing.
yeah, not cheaply though. I mean, yes, you can do it at home, but you can only really do it at home if you've got good quality plugins and good quality computer systems and stuff. So yeah, you can make average music just with GarageBand for sure. You've got great when I say average music, that sounds like I'm a bit of a snob. I don't mean that. You can make great music with GarageBand, but if you want to be up there with the best of the rest, then you need to invest. Oof, a bit of a literary.
That was good. That was like I'm also an advertising teacher. That was good. Jonathan, let's give you a chance here. We're already getting the 10-minute warning, so go ahead.
Oh, Mark, we must tell Jonathan what happens when it stops. Okay.
I will. But what'll happen is everything is going to go off for about 5 minutes. Just click the link and come back.
Okay.
But leave it 5 minutes.
Yeah, give me 5 minutes. I've got to get it uploaded to a storage device.
But
Sure.
Anyway, over to you, Jonathan. Who are you?
What's the question?
Who are you? What's your background in music? Where do you live? Just what's your favorite album? Those three.
Okay, so I'm born and raised in Germany and Spain, and I'm currently living in Hamburg. And well, I had a little bit of time to think about the album, but actually there's one which for me was a little bit of a game changer. When I was at the music high school, my teacher gave it to me, and at first I didn't understand. I was more into slapping and fancy stuff, and with the years I understood, man, this is pure gold and magic. And it's American Dreams from Charlie Hayden and Michael Brecker. And I love that album, and it's incredible. But of course, there are a lot of them more, and I do think like you listen music for like in each moment you want different music. At some point, I want to listen to James Blake. At some point, I need some classical. At some point, I do need my Bob Marley stuff, and so
now
yeah.
Nick uses a lot of different studio musicians. So are you in a band on your own, or do you just do, um, tracks for different people? And by the way, you play bass. Why?
Yes.
And I guess I'll throw one more question at you. Why did you choose bass over regular guitar? And that's it.
Oh, I started with the guitar for sure. I mean, coming from Spain, or my mother's Spanish, and so we started actually together to play it. And the story with the bass is a little bit strange because I don't know why I picked it. That like the first thought of why to get in touch with the bass, I don't really know. I know from the moment that when I played it and I heard it and I felt it, then I wanted to play bass.
Okay.
Yes, that's for sure. What was the other one?
And just what other bands are you in,
Oh
or
yeah,
what other projects, things are you working on? Or go ahead.
right. So I am here in Hamburg, and of course also doing local gigs. But my two main projects are with Annika Nilles. I'm playing in Well. That's the band, and also with Trilog Gurtu. I mean, we are still playing, not anymore that much, but like for the last 10 years for sure.
Excellent. All right.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask this question, and hopefully, I think I know the answer already, but I'm going to ask anyway. You've put together one heck of a band here, Nick. Is this the beginning of the Nick Fletcher band, or the Fletcher Niles band, or the Fletcher jazz band? I mean, you guys are a tight unit. This album, I mean, all of them that I've reviewed for you they just keep getting better. Is this the beginning of something bigger?
Well, I don't know about that, but it was certainly very exciting to work on this project with such fantastic musicians, and it was great to be able to include Jonathan and bring him into the mix with this, because this is the sort of direction that I was hearing in my head. And obviously, doing an album with Annika was fantastic, but I felt that we needed to develop that rhythmically with a different bass player. And then Annika said, "Well, if you're looking for a bass player, why don't you ask Jonathan, who was my bass player?" And I did, and thankfully he came on board and did some amazing stuff, and it really gels, and I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm so knocked out and thrilled to be able to work with what I personally consider probably one of the best rhythm sections in the world. I mean, Annika and Jonathan are just mind blowing. I've seen them play live. I've seen them at Ronnie Scott's in London, and man, what a band! And the way they work together is just astonishing. So I'm so grateful and so thrilled to be able to work with these guys, because they just bring to the table all the ingredients which I really think brings my music to life. That the stuff that I've written. So I hope to do more, but obviously we shall see. But I mean, other people need to want to do it. I mean, I want to do more. I mean, I think Jonathan wants to do more, but we have to just take our time with that. But it was a great project to do, and very fulfilling. And I think we got a great result. And like you say, Mark, I mean, it sounds like a band album, even though we weren't in the studio at the same time. I think we got that vibe across that maybe people may imagine that we were, and that's very important for this project.
Is it? So I'll ask you again. Is there a possibility of that, or you want to?
Well, a few years ago, maybe, but since we've come out of the EU, it makes life a lot more difficult. So, because this is a European band, so there's two musicians based in Germany, and also I've got a keyboard player who's based right up in the Arctic Circle in Norway. So that makes life, I think, a little difficult.
Yeah. And so there won't be any touring or anything. Usually,
probably not. I mean, the logistics and the cost of it are probably a little prohibitive at the moment, but you never know. Certainly would like to.
And I know you're doing a lot of touring with John Hackett Band and your own touring?
Yeah, I do quite a lot with him, and I do a lot of solo stuff as well. Yeah.
And I think you've also linked up with the Blackheart Orchestra as well on a couple of gigs, right?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Well, I've done quite a few gigs with them. Yeah, that's right. And
And
of course, Olga should be joining us soon because she's currently on tour with them, so she'll be able to fill you in more about what she's doing.
And just to come back to you for a minute, you also are, if I remember correctly, Massimo Pieretti out of Italy. I think you're playing on his album.
Oh yeah, me. Yes. We he asked me to do a couple of tracks for him, and that and Caroline recorded that as well. Yeah, I'm not very good at recording. I'm a bit clumsy with recording.
That's it.
He's
I
a
love the way you
player.
say you're not very good at recording.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't record. I'm crap.
No.
But anyway.
Nick is a complete technophobe, so I do all the technical stuff and just let him be creative, basically.
There you are.
Yeah, it's a good team. It works well.
All right. Any other projects you're involved with, Nick? Because we're down to about
At the moment, no,
Yeah.
I'm not involved in anything else. But I'm writing the next album as we
Wow.
speak. Well, not literally as we speak, but
Well, yeah.
a few minutes before I was writing some ideas down. So I'm on the case with that. Yeah.
What about Laura? Laura from Italy as well.
Oh yeah.
That would be a great.
Well, she collaborated on the Massimo track as well, because he wrote that for the two of us. Yeah, but that's the only thing we've done so far. She's busy at the moment working with Clive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no plans at the moment to work together. But
Imaginarium. In
That's
case
right.
you guys don't know what we're talking about, they're working on the next Imaginarium album.
Yeah.
Okay, we're down to about a minute. Any short things anyone wants to add, or before we get cut off? And then we're going to come back. We're actually going to talk about the album and
sure.
the future, things like that.
Great. Okay.
Anything else anyone wants to add?
So we'll all rejoin in 5 minutes on that same link. Yeah.
Please just click that same link, and we'll all be back together here, and we will